Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Crop Progress Update. We flipped the calendar here once again for 2019 to December. I think most of us are glad to wrap up this harvest season. I know there's some that are still struggling a little bit here yet this month to try and get their crop out of the field here in Northwest Ohio and up into Michigan and some areas. And the USDA has actually extended the crop progress updates that they do on Monday afternoons and are still doing those just to see where we're at to finish harvest up. And I think the market's really looking at that here hard over the next couple of weeks just to see if there's going to be some of this crop that is not going to be harvested. So I think that's one point to really look at here from a grain perspective is that that's going to affect the stocks and the overall production here for the year as we go forward. So those are going to be probably more highly traded just because it's abnormal to have those go into December, and I think the market's going to watch those here over the next few weeks. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, along with obviously the other variables, including the trade situation with China and what that does to the soybean complex if we get some sort of a trade deal done. I think South American weather is key right now as their crop is planted. I think they planted more of a crop there than what they have here historically, so that should increase world stocks as well. So just a lot of news there just to keep an eye on here. I think one of the big things from the grain side of things is when we flip to December, we talk a lot about our freedom pricing programs and what that does for new crop going forward for 2020 crop and 2021 crop. I think this is a crucial time of year to talk about marketing plans with growers and just diversify and manage our risk with some of those programs and layer in the HTAs and different kinds of contracts as well, besides the Freedom Managed programs like the Freedom Tech, the Freedom Trader, and those sort of programs. So get in touch with your Anderson's account rep. We'd be happy to talk through those with you if you've never done them before. I think it's a really good, a great program just for diversification, letting someone else manage a few of your bushels and see if you can kind of compete against those yourself.
Keeps the emotion out of it.
It does. It's a really good way to just, spread out your risk for sure on your pricing into 2020 and 2021 in corn and soybeans. So what are you guys seeing out there as we wrap up harvest here from an agronomy perspective?
Well, the yields, of course, were a lot better than what we were thinking they were going to be when we planted a month, 30 days late. We have some good trials back now. Jess and I are going to be highlighting a few of those today. We'll just start out with our sulfur trial. The last few years that we've been encouraging more sulfur being put on those acres due to the Clean Air Act is cleaning the air up. The fuel is getting a lot of sulfur taken out of it, and so we're seeing a lot more sulfur deficiencies. This last year, we did a nice trial up at North Manchester, Indiana, and we came out about 9 bushel ahead with an application of 10 pounds of sulfur in the fall. We need to continue that sulfur application in the spring also with our starters, correct, Jess?
Yeah, so one thing we really want to look at too is going into 2020 and looking back on our 2019, our starter applications, and supplementing some of those micronutrients. Like you said, they're like sulfur and some others, they just aren't present in the soil profile as we need them to be. So supplementing those micronutrients, it's really going to help push that crop up out of the ground and help it fill out through the rest of the growing season.
Yeah, and if we can get some sulfur in the starter, and then also with your 28 application through either a weed and feed or side dress, you're gonna see a lot of benefit through that, and it carries on through the yield as we showed this year with a 9 bushel bump over check. So we were very impressed with that.
And go
so
ahead.
really, anytime that you're adding nitrogen, you should also be adding sulfur with it.
Yeah, that's correct. Sulfur is a very key element in making that nitrogen uptake more efficient in that crop and making the crop metabolize it better.
And looking at just the deficiency in the field, sulfur deficiency has the same symptoms as nitrogen deficiency, just where it shows up in the plant versus mobile or immobile nutrients. Your nitrogen deficiency shows up in the bottom of the plant, your sulfur deficiency shows up in the top of the plant. However, the leaf tissue looks the same either way if it's sulfur or nitrogen deficiency, which is something we really saw this year unless that additional sulfur was applied. And looking at some of the other micronutrients, your zinc, manganese, and boron, those are also very essential going in your starter fertilizer application. We have a lot of trials out this year with our microcarb ZMB, and it is one of our most researched and most proven products on our side of things. And we saw as much as 10.4 bushel per acre advantage when applying that microcarb ZMB in furrow with a starter.
Yeah, that was just a 1 quart application with the starter, so it's not that you're having a separate application or anything like that. I always call those 3 elements, the zinc, manganese, and boron, the 3 amigos. They are probably the most important micronutrients that you could be applying in your starters. And it's a nice way to put that in there with the fulvic acid. It carbon chelates those nutrients and kind of tricks the plant into taking up more than it actually is wanting to take up at that time. That way it can have some backup in the plant, and it can use them later on.
So that's all we have for you today. Get in touch with an Anderson's representative if you have any questions about anything we talked about, or find us on social media or andersonsgrain.com or andersonsplantnutrient.com. Thank you.